Let the data be your guide is another research talk kind of mantra, and that's been really impactful in my work because it just kind of releases you. It takes a lot of the stress, honestly, out of the qualitative research process. And it is a little bit harder when you're working with one or more collaborators because you all need to be on the same page of that. On that, you can't necessarily have one person that's trying to genius the project while another person's letting the data be their guide. So, just making sure you have collaborators that are on the same page. But once you do that, it unlocks a world of possibilities with your qualitative work, and it makes it more legitimate.
We're often coached in our everyday systems and lives to like quickly come up with the one answer that you're going to move forward. And I love design thinking because it's structured to really force us to sit in this divergent, convergent space going back and forth and think about a lot of different ideas and put many of them into the real world for feedback before picking one. And then lastly is that implementation stage where you are taking the idea that you've put forward and vetted and then implementing that in a community.
What we like to do with all of our qualitative work is not just throw things in buckets. We've all seen a lot of projects that sort of end there. It's like, here's the 3 things you need to know about these teen mothers. But I said, no, we're not. We're going to dig deeper to kind of re-examine the data and really understand these teen mothers' positions as they navigated some really, obviously difficult challenges, coming to terms with their experiences and also, making parenting decisions of their own.
The intention behind asking people to walk through or draw journeys is so that you can understand not just isolated moments or decisions, but the whole cascade of them that happen before and after. And so let's say we're developing a new intervention for HIV testing. And many of us might zoom in on the actual intervention itself, which is so important. But design thinking, again, we're thinking about the feasibility and viability of it. So what does it look like for a patient or participant to even hear about the intervention to begin with? That needs to be thought about. And on the back end, after they have submitted their or done their HIV tests, what is that experience supposed to be like? And so oftentimes we ask people to draw or tell us their status quo of what their current process might be for a particular journey, and then imagine what it would be like if it was better. Or sometimes we craft and show them a whole journey map of what's intended for a brand new intervention and ask people to respond. But it's a great way to get individual data. You can even compile it and consolidate journey maps so that you can have a visual representation across all these focus groups. This is what we saw. So I do think that there are some great visual tools that can really help not only the research team, but also participants see and make sense of the data themselves. And then they can individually also draw connections or point out what insight stands out to them the most. As a field, I hope and am confident that more design thinking methods embedded within Qual would be able to lead to more community engagement and more trust in researchers in the research process, because it's baked in throughout the process that there's this constant exchange of ideas and iterating. It's really important for engagement and trust building and advancing this field, going into this more participatory direction.